once upon a time. Every day is once upon a time. Once upon a time I found you under an October sky. Blue-eyed soul and blonde ambition, lover from another life. Every day is once upon a time. Oh, once upon a time. Once upon a time. Once upon a time. Every day is once upon a time.
Let's meet at the place where you and I begin. We'll move through water into stone. Where stone melts to fire and fire turns to lake, where my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes mine, my breath becomes your breath.
That's called a TSRW.
I thought I dreamt.
God, it's so good. And it cleared up in about 3 days. It really
Our cells listen,
Wow.
our cells react in a more vital way.
Yes,
Look at that,
absolutely.
wow, that's awesome. Those are the kind of healings I have, but I want to name your dentist. That you not have no pain the next day, oh my goodness,
So you
that's
learned to know what
amazing.
yesterday? No, I didn't. No, I'm not doing that.
You're so great. You're so great. And not, but look at, you know what, but you declare it so much.
He knows the number.
Oh my God, that's really simple.
I'm hearing a squeaky wheel. Good morning. Welcome for joining me for meditation and contemplation this morning. On this beautiful day, I invite you to put aside whatever you might be holding in your hands. As we settle into the sacred moments, taking this opportunity to recognize that this moment is all that there is. leaving behind everything that has happened in the past, letting it go in love. And letting go of any worries, concerns, or plans for the future. Just letting it go in love. We place our attention gently on our breath, allowing our breath to gently remind us of the give and take, the cycle of life, the in and the outs, the coming and the going. Neither holding our breath nor forcing it. We simply allow it to be. And so in this moment, we allow ourselves to be. To be still. To be quiet. Simply to be. There is nothing you have to do in this moment. Allow your body to relax. Allow your mind to relax. And simply know that God is present. Seeking nothing but an experience of God in this moment. Allow the stillness to take you into the presence of the divine. And as your mind eventually wanders, just bring it back to your breath and back to the thought that God is. Peace is. Joy is. Wholeness is. In this moment, God is all that there is because God is the present moment. So allow yourself to be still. Allow yourself to experience the peace. Give yourself the gift of experiencing the presence of God. Allow any noises or body sensations or thoughts or worries to simply float across your mind like clouds in the sky. As they float past, notice them, but allow them to continue on their way. And return to your breath and the thoughts, God is. Turning your attention once more to your breath, allowing yourself to feel your body, feel supported by your chair. As you carry this sense of peace and equanimity into your day and into your week, thank you for joining me in meditation and contemplation. Our regular Sunday morning gathering will start in about 5 minutes. So it is.
to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of love. The power of now.
Good Sunday morning. Oh, I know you all lost an hour of sleep, but we can do better than that. Good morning, CSLB.
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. Thanks for coming out this morning, even though you lost some sleep this morning. It's a beautiful day, and it's beautiful to see everybody here, both in person or online. If you're here online, type in, let us know where you're coming from and where you're watching from, and that you're here watching us. If we have any first-time guests, welcome. You can pick up a blue welcome packet in the back. Do we have anybody here for the first time? Well, welcome. Thank you. And it was bring guests to Sunday service. We're actually bribing you to bring friends and relatives today. So I guess Julia Harris's family gets the gift this morning.
Okay.
So come on up. We're paying you to be here. How great is that?
We have a $35 gift for anybody who brings a new person, so.
All
Julia
right.
brought you here, so she wins.
Just gift is your $35.
Please take, after service, we have fellowship and a meal in Carter Hall. Please consider staying after service. We love to hang out together and talk about spiritual stuff and check in. So feel free to join us after the service for fellowship and a meal. And please take a moment to make sure that your cell phone is silent. No, really, make sure your phone is silent. Okay, good. Let's start off our service this morning by reading our vision statement together and affirming who we are with all of the joy and beauty that we are experiencing this morning. So together we claim and affirm CSLB is an inclusive and transformative community of spiritual practice. Please enjoy our opening song, and while we're singing, feel free to turn to your neighbors and say howdy, and find somebody that you haven't talked to in a while and say good morning.
Okay, so my name is George Melton. I'm a member of the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs, California. So I'm really happy to be here with you this morning. I think a great way to get a service started, especially on this morning in which the time has changed and kind of screwed with our circadian rhythm, is by a rousing congregational song. So first of all, I want you all to stand. And I want you to repeat after me, I am a light. And then turn to your neighbor and acknowledge that you are a light. And then collectively, we are the light. So join me as we sing A Light in This World.
That was beautiful. All right, a couple of announcements today after service. We are holding a celebration for our very own Julia Harris in the Rose Garden. So I invite you and encourage you to be there as we celebrate her. You can also celebrate a loved one, organization, or a special occasion by sponsoring our beautiful Sunday flowers. And who are these sponsored by this morning?
Joan Frost.
Joan Frost. Those are beautiful. There's information about how to sign up for that on the information station in the back. You can also sign up for a fellowship and food challenge up here on the wall if you want to have a $50 reimbursement for main dishes for our fellowship time. So I invite you to do that. Our membership luncheon is today at 11? Well, we're celebrating our new members today, so that will be awesome. Metaphysical movie nights and spaghetti dinner and discussion is March 12th from 5 to 8. And I believe the movie is on Golden Ponds, which is an awesome movie. So I invite you to be here for that. And we have Carl Anthony coming on March 30th. The man behind the music. He's going to speak on the evolving spiritual journey, the way that music comes to him, and the healing melody of music. So I believe he is here for the service and the message, and he's doing a little concert afterwards. So you want to be here on March 30th. And the Redlands Community Orchestra with our very own Donna Minnie Smith is on March 9th at 3 p.m. and it is free. So if you're like,
That's today.
that is today. So as soon as you leave here after Julia Harris's celebration, you can go celebrate some beautiful music with Donna McNeese Smith. All right. Well, in case you don't know me, I'm Reverend Neil. I'm your staff minister here for the Center for Spiritual Living. The other practitioners and I will be available after service on this side of the sanctuary for some prayer. So please do not leave here this morning with anything on your heart. We would love to pray with you and absolutely know that prayer works. And I have a little read. I thought I would share from you this morning from Living the Science of Mind. If you've ever looked at our textbook, which is Science of Mind, and went, oh my gosh, that's really big and really hard to read, and I don't want to do that, Living the Science of Mind is a much more accessible and friendly way to be introduced to our teaching and our philosophy and our way of life. So I thought I would share from you some words from Ernest Holmes this morning. This is called You Have Dominion. With an understanding of this science, fear should disappear, and with direct application of this principle to your problems, you will discover that they will begin to seem less insistent. Begin to act as though you already had dominion over evil, as though all fear were a phantom, and as though everything you have been afraid of were unreal. Declare the truth by saying, there is nothing to be afraid of, that you no longer entertain any images of fear, that good is the only power that there is, that this good, which is the only power that there is now operating in and through your affairs. Know that good is omnipotent. Know that truth is instantly, effectively, and permanently destroys every fear and every effective fear. Know that you are governed by an infinite intelligence. Know you are directed by divine guidance, and that you are compelled to think and act constructively. Therefore, you may know that everything you do, say, or think carries with it a divine authority. Freedom already exists, but your freedom is in your thought. Hence, it is not enough to say God is free, which of course is a true statement, but this statement must be made personal. The freedom of God is my freedom. The power of God is my power. The presence of God is in me. The mind of God is my mind. The strength of God is my strength. And the joy of God is my joy. And so it is. So take a moment to enjoy this meditative music as it brings us into our center and into our prayer.
I will surrender to my highest, greatest good. I will release any fears that block my way. For every step I I take is taken in full faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing, and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts, and let Spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free. As I continue walking in this mystery, I will surrender to my highest, greatest good. I will release any fears that block my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am grateful every moment, every day. I will surrender to my highest, greatest good. I will release any fears that block my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am kinder every moment, every day.
So in this moment, we surrender to that sacred space, that sacred feeling, that knowing that God is all that there is, knowing that that peace, that presence, that principle which is God is present with us this morning and in this space. That each one of us is a light of love, a light of peace, a light of joy, and that together we are creating this thing called sacred spiritual community. And so in this moment, we simply know that God is living, moving, and having its being as each one of us. And so I know that this sacred time together unfolds in perfect ways, and that everything that needs to be heard this morning, that is yours, that is for your good, I claim and know it is heard clearly and effortlessly. And I know that the music, the message, and the community are all seeking to feed our soul this morning. And so we simply allow it to happen, allow it to unfold as each one of us, and accept the gift that is the spiritual community and the spiritual teaching. And in great gratitude, I simply declare it to be so, and so it is.
And so it is, and I want to acknowledge Reverend Neil for bringing that calm, peaceful, organized presence to the center. He's been that presence for a long time. I'm a little less organized, a little more living in the moment, a little more trusting spirit. And so that's part of when George is playing surrendering into that higher good. And it's really not even a higher good, and it's not a good that we buy into. It's a good that by and by guides us. And it guides us from within to the without, and to the without to the within. And it guides us in knowing that Reverend Neil mentioned in his reading the concept of evil. And in Science of Mind, there is no evil. There's only good unfolding to a higher good. And so the way we like to look at the word evil in this teaching is we flip it. We do a 180 on everything, right? We 180 everything. And so if we 180 the word evil, it becomes the word live. And the only evil for myself is when I'm not living fully. When I'm not living fully out loud, when I'm not living fully alive, when I'm not living fully awake, when I'm not living fully aware, then I have some awakening and awareing and aliveness to bring forth. And part of that aliveness came forth today in a not so unusual way, but in an unusual depth of way. I work on my talks a good part of the week, and then usually the final polish and the final, we like to say the polish for the heart is love. And I think the final polish that always was brings my talk to life is that final polish of love, and that usually happens somewhere between midnight Saturday and 4 a.m. Sunday morning. And that's the final 2 or 3 hour polish. But this talk changed title on me, changed theme on me, changed message on me. And that's unusual. And so the talk title was, probably in the program, Breaking Away. But that was what the talk title was. And in Science of Mind, we live in the is, right? We live in the is of the moment because that's where ministry lives and breathes and has its being. That's where we live and breathe and have our being. That's where spirit lives and breathes, has its being in the is of this moment. So in the is of this moment, if it doesn't change in the next moment, right now the talk title is Speak, Spark, and Shine. And so it was a little surprising for me that the title changed so dramatically today. And I went with it. And I created new PowerPoints and I created new talk. And so what is Science of Mind about? What's its essence? What's its isness? What's its loving presence? What's Science of Mind's essence, isness, and loving presence? What is it? What is it? And what I feel Science of Mind's essence is that Science of Mind is an invitation. It's an invitation to live in the moment, in the now of the moment. And when Spirit calls you to change a title and change a topic and change a theme, it invites us to be present with all of that aliveness and awakeness and awareness in the moment. And it's kind of an exciting living edge to live on. And I recently, I guess last week, had my ordination panels, my second one. I passed the first one. I did pass the second one. So I'm now ordained Reverend Michael. So check off that box, right? 14 years from my first class to checking that box off last Thursday. And one of the questions they asked me, I said to Ross, well, this is just a re-panel and it's going to be a 20-minute panel. They're usually 30, 40 minutes. This one went an hour and 15 minutes. I thought, I'm not going to get through this one either. You know, what's going on, Spirit? One of the questions they asked me, which really brought me to that awareness, aliveness, and awakeness in the moment is, what's your leading edge in ministry? What's your leading edge? And I thought, I don't have a leading edge. Not the answer they were looking for. The faces went, whoa, doesn't have a leading edge. And I said, having a leading edge is like sitting on the fence. If you're sitting on the fence, you're sitting on the fence. If you're on the leading edge, you're on the leading edge, and that's not the leading edge. The leading edge is leading ahead of the leading edge. And so I said, ministry for me is about being ahead of the leading edge, not on the leading edge. You got to get off the leading edge to be ahead of the leading edge. And that was kind of what happened this morning on this talk as it moved from breaking away into that essence of speak, spark, and shine. So our Science of Mind text, for me, speaks, sparks, and shines. Our Science of Mind philosophy speaks, sparks, and shines. Our Science of Mind faith speaks, sparks, and shines. And our Science of Mind way of life speaks, sparks, and shines. And our philosophy speaks, sparks, and shines from way back. Reverend Neil and I have no idea how far back, because I asked him yesterday how far back Plato went. And this teaching began to speak and spark and shine through a Greek philosopher named Plato. And he simply said this: know thyself. That's our teaching. That's our essence. That's our isness. That's our leading edge that's actually beyond the leading edge. It takes us into an eternity of awareness. We move beyond the leading edge into the eternity of that presence of the essence and the isness and the oneness and the nowness that we are. And so for me, Science of Mind speaks and sparks and shines with oneness. A oneness with everything. A oneness with everyone. A oneness with everything that ever was, ever is and ever will be. A oneness with all of eternity. A oneness with all of eternity in body, in mind, in spirit, and in liberty. Ernest Holmes speaks of this teaching as being a teaching that sets us free. It sets us free from the liabilities of the way the world appears to be into the liberty of the way we lovingly choose life to be. That's the liberty of this teaching. That's the liberty of the freedom of our thoughts, to choose our thoughts. That's the liberty of the freedom to know that there is no jailer that can jail us. Because the only jail is not of metal bars, but it's of our own mental making. And so today, as we move into our affirmation, we're aligning with that oneness, we're aligning with that awakeness, we're aligning with that awareness, we're aligning with that aliveness of that liberty of freedom to choose to live a life that is mine. Not a life that is yours, not a life that somebody else tells us to live, not a life that another religion tells us to how to think and what to think. But the liberty of freedom for me in Science of Mind is the liberty to choose to live a life that's mine. And the way I own my life is through affirmative prayer. And the way we own our lives in its fullness and its richness and its blessedness and its bounty and its bodaciousness is to affirm in the I am. Those are two of the most powerful words in our teaching, I am. And whatever follows our I am shows up as who we are in this life. And so our opening I am affirmation, we affirm the good in everything. We pray in the good, we don't pray out the negative. We don't do negative prayer. We do positive affirmative prayer. We pray in the good. And so today I will read this, and then I invite you to read it with me, to pray in the I am of my good, the I am of your good. And so today's I am affirmation is, I am one body. I am one mind. I am one spirit. I am one liberty. And so now if you'll read that with me. I am one body. I am one mind. I am one spirit. I am one liberty. And the liberty that we just I am is the liberty of freedom of mind to choose to live a life that is mine. That's Science of Mind. Ernest Shurtleff Holmes, his middle name was Shurtleff, which I have not heard before. It was a family name. But Ernie, on one of my ministerial exams, and they were essay exams, usually 10, 15-page essay exams, and we wrote many of them, and they were really sticklers for attention to detail because we want to be attuned and atoned and aligned with our life and being aware and giving attention to what's happening in our outer life so we can become aware of how our inner life is creating that. And I submitted my exam and hit click, and just before I hit click, auto spell check went in. And that was between the second, auto spell check went in, and it was delivered to the professor. And auto spell check changed Ernest Shurtleff Holmes to Ernest Shirtless Holmes. Now, I received my exam back. And on the paper, circled in red ink, was shirtless, -2 points. Ernest Holmes was never shirtless. Now, I had the opportunity of, we don't confront people, but of cooperatively shifting the professor's consciousness. He said, no, attention to detail. What's going on within creates the without. Don't put your life and blame it on auto spell check. You need to be attentive to these things before you send this energy out in the universe. So I got 2 points on it. But it gets better in ministry. I had a professor, a psychology professor, brilliant. You know brilliance when you see brilliant. Brilliant. And so only 2 exams, midterm, 50% of your grade, final exam, 50%. I didn't like that in school, terrified me, give me 4 25%ers. So 50 on each. I got the first written exam back. I got a C, my only C in ministerial school. And you had to get a B for graduate work for it to count, which meant I had to ace the final exam. So here I'm sweating from mid-term to the end, sweating bullets. So I wrote the prof, and a lot of profs would let you write an extra credit paper, and you pick up 5 points or 10 point, extra 10-point essay because they wanted you to learn. Okay, so I wrote this prof and said, I'm a little nervous about pulling a C, because that means I got to get an A, and that's a lot of pressure. And he wrote back, you got to love people who are honest, right? Or not. And he wrote back, Michael, Holmes Institute of Consciousness doesn't pay me enough to read your paper once, let alone twice. The C stands. Good luck on your final exam. You know, sometimes you got to speak the truth the way it is, right? And so I always remembered that lesson, and I aced the final exam, so I got a B, so it counted. But the lesson was, when we pull C's in life, maybe it's a C for consciousness, to take a look at what we're releasing into life automatically without owning that thought, without owning that energy, without owning that presence. And so there's a liberty in science of mind to release into the world. But what are we releasing into the world? Because what we're releasing into the world is going to create our love the way it shows, our life the way it shows up. So we want to lovingly release. And Ernest Holmes speaks of liberty 11 times in the Science of Mind text. That means it was important to Ernest. A lot of our words show up once or twice or 3, but he gave 11 passages to the word liberty. So I thought what he wants for me to do in that consciousness is not to release and pass over this, but to be present with it. Don't pass over something I put in 11 passages. Be present with it. And so in the Science of Mind text on page 272, paragraph 2, he writes this of liberty. And remember, we've affirmed the I am liberty, right? He writes this of liberty. He says, our part is to be willing to be guided. And in George's song was the thing, to willingness to be guided. And I thought, well, there's alignment. To be guided that there is no evil, there's only aliveness. And as we move from the concept of evil into live, how fully do we live into this liberty of our breath, this liberty of life, this liberty that sets us free? And so Ernest shares this. Ernest Shirtliff Holmes shares this. Our part is to be willing to be guided. And George's song talked about being guided by surrender. To be guided into truth and liberty. That's all there ever is. That's all there ever will be, is truth and liberty. And he says, as we're guided into this truth and liberty, spiritually guided into this truth and liberty, all doubt and all fear must go. And in their place, in our releasing and letting go, we create a space for more to flow. In our releasing and our letting go, we create a space for more to flow. And so he said what flows into that place for which we create space is faith and confidence. Isn't that a lovely feeling? Isn't that a lovely thought? Faith and confidence. How does that feel? Faith and confidence. And he says, for in faith and confidence we shall be guided, gifted, and graced by Spirit's liberty into all that is good, even C's on papers. All good. All good. All of it is good. And that's one of our principles. Is good unfolding to a higher good. Good unfolding to a greater and greater good. The good of co-creation. The good of life eternal. Yes, Julia always spoke about forgiveness in this life. And as she spoke about forgiveness many, many, many times, you could see this light of life coming alive in her. The more she forgave, the more the light and the givingness of the light of love was present in Julia. And I'll always remember that. Forgive, Reverend Michael. I'm working on it. I didn't ask you to work on it, Reverend Michael. I told you to forgive. I mean, every conversation we had, she lived forgiveness. She breathed forgiveness, and that brought her a spiritual liberty. That was spiritual liberty for her. And Ernest Holmes says of the spiritual liberty, we shall be led. We shall be led. And so I feel what he means by we shall be led is prayerful invitation. If we allow our lives to be led by prayerful invitation to a welcome consciousness, to a welcoming consciousness, a conscious citation, right? You get a citation for speeding, but prayerful invitation brings us to a conscious citation of awareness, a citation of insight to let our life speak. So you can get a citation for speeding, or you can get a citation of insight to let your life speak, to let your life spark and shine by praying the I am of our good in. And so we don't pray the negative out. We pray the I am of our good in. And so as we pray the I am of our good in, we begin to watch our dreams begin. We begin to watch our dreams begin and unfold in magical, mystical, mysterious ways as we allow ourselves to be led by conscious citation through prayerful invitation. And here's how we pray in the I am of our good unfolding to a greater good. I am a dreamer dreaming. How does that feel? I am a dreamer dreaming. I am a dreamer streaming. I'm streaming my dreams. Unending. Not beginning, just a stream of my dreams. I'm a dreamer beaming. I am my dream come true. Power of I am. Power of insightful citation. The insightful citation of conscious vibration, of awakening, aliving, and awareing to the I am of who we are. John Lennon shares, it's been said so many times, but some things can't be said enough. You may say, I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join me, and the world will be as one. Our opening affirmation: one body, one mind, one spirit, one liberty. This is a teaching of liberty to call forth the life that you desire to live. Your life, your desire, your choice, your I am to mine. To mine. To go in there and mine the gold, to mine the goodness, to mine the greatness. This week, our nation had an opportunity. This nation had an opportunity of speaking Lady Liberty's truth. What does Ernest Holmes say? There are only two things: truth and liberty. That's it. You either speak it, you either live it, you either breathe it, you either accept it, or you don't. There's no in between. There's no half-truth. There's no half-heartedness. Ernest Holmes, whole, perfect, and complete. No halfway in this teaching. Whole, perfect, and complete. We had the opportunity of speaking Lady Liberty's truth. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. People who just want to breathe free in the liberty of the I am, of the choice of life they choose to live where they choose to live it. This week we had the opportunity as a nation of sparking our rocket's red glare. God, I remember kindergarten, Dad West Pointer, rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in the air. It showed through the night that our flag and liberty was still there. That's what I was taught. We had that opportunity of sparking our rocket's red glare this week that proved through the night our courage and dare and flag was still there. This week, our nation had the opportunity of shining forth from sea to shining sea. I was taught in kindergarten that this nation was good enough and bold enough and big enough and bodacious enough and bountiful enough to be the sea to shining sea of the consciousness of love and light and truth and of acceptance and inclusivity for all nations, everywhere. It's what I was taught in kindergarten. What is it, everything I learned in kindergarten I should have forgotten? And so this week, our nation had the opportunity of shining forth truth and liberty from sea to shining sea. And let's look at the sea as the letter C, from consciousness to consciousness. Oh, consciousness to consciousness. This week, not our nation, but a stranger to our land. And how many of us have been strangers in different lands? We visit France and we don't speak French. We visit Germany, we don't speak German. Heck, I'm beginning to feel in this country I speak English and I can't communicate in my own land. I can't communicate in my own land. But this week, not our nation, but a stranger to our land, stood tall and took stand in letting his life speak, letting his life spark, letting his life shine. It's said, I love poetry. It's said that poetry speaks and sparks and shines of a liberty that yearns to be free. A liberty that yearns to be free. Robert Frost coupled poetry and power, for he saw poetry as the means of saving power from itself. When power leads men and women towards arrogance, poetry reminds us of our human limitations. When power narrows the arrows of man's concern, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of his existence. When power corrupts, poetry cleanses. For art establishes the basic human truth which must serve as touchstones for our better judgment. What counts is the purpose for which power is used. Ernest Holmes. We have a power for good that we can use in the universe. It's our choice how to use it for truth and liberty to set ourselves free. And as we set ourselves free, everyone else is set free in our presence. Shakespeare said, to have a giant strength, but to use it like a tyrannous giant is not to know power at all. There's a poem that was written by Anonymous this week, and it's called A Stranger Rode In to the Hall of Power, a weary traveler from a battered land. He came not to beg, but to stand, bearing the weight of his people's sorrow. Yet cruelty met him at the door, words like stones, cold and sharp, not from foes upon the battlefield, but from hands once stretched in promise. My dad was a West Pointer. He believed, and this was a land that was stretched in promise, a promise that was so big and so bold and so beautiful and so bountiful that it could encompass everyone in that promise of truth and liberty. Truth and liberty for all. Oh, how the world watches in silence as dignity can be trampled by arrogance. But the rider will ride on, for his people still stand. And history will remember not the cruelty and not the insult, but the unbroken spirit of those who will not kneel. Science of Mind is a teaching that invites us not to kneel in the face of circumstances. Science of Mind is a teaching of life and liberty and light and truth. And Science of Mind invites us not to kneel in the face of conditions, but to reveal. To reveal the life and liberty and truth of love that we are. Science of Mind is an invitation to stand tall, to stand strong, to stand true, to speak the truth, to spark the truth, to shine the truth of love's light. President Theodore Roosevelt was a man who let his life spark, let his life shine, let his life speak. He traveled to the Sorbonne in Paris in 1910 to join world leaders in a world conference to learn how to work better together, how to promote unity among nations. 1910. Traveled to another nation. Theodore Roosevelt. Here's what he read. Here's what he wrote. Here's what he sparked. Here's what he sparked through the life he lived, which showed up as the words he shared. He wrote this and read this in Paris in 1910 about unity of nations. It's called The Man in the Arena. How many people know this? The Man in the Arena. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement. The triumph of high achievement, of the liberty and light and love of calling forth a life that is mine, of your calling forth a life that is yours. In the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails in his attempt at living a life larger than his fellow man, at least falls while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat, because they've never dared themselves, they've never couraged themselves, they've never let their life speak, spark, or shine forth from love's unconditional liberty. Shel Silverstein shares this in this poem. It's called Hug of War. And he invites us to move beyond our tug of war with ourselves, with others, into a hug of war. And it reads like this: I will not play at your game of tug of war. I'd rather play my own game of hug of war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rugs, where everyone kisses and everyone grins, and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. Liberty of a life we choose through the thoughts we think, the words we speak, the life we show up as. Science of mind is an invitation. It's an invitation to let your life speak and spark and shine. Don't let the tug of your I'm not become the treason that keeps you from the season of the hug of the I am of your soul. We're talking about the hug of the I am of your soul. Forget being loved in this world. Give that one up. Amen. Give that one up. Yes. Come from the love in your soul, yeah? That's the one. That's the one you want to go after. That's the one you want to reveal. The hug in your soul, the I am of your soul of dreams come true. As you come to pray the I am of your soul in, watch your dreams begin. As you come to pray the I am of your dream in, watch your dreams begin. And to let your dreams begin, there was a little 7-year-old boy who was a dreamer dreaming. He was a dreamer streaming. He was a dreamer beaming. There was a little boy who let his life speak and spark and shine. How many of you little boys, little girls, remember when your life spoke truth, sparked truth, shined truth, spoke love, sparked love, shined love, spoke of liberty, running out in the rain, not coming out of the pool when you were called because you were having too good a time for dinner, but you didn't get out of the pool. You know, there was a little boy and there's a little boy and there's a little girl in all of us. And I don't know if your little boy or girl is 7 days old, 7 weeks old, 7 months old, 7 years old, or 70 years old. God bless the 70-year-old child. God bless the 70-year-old child. So there's a Jewish family named the Karnofsky who immigrated from Lithuania to the United States. They saw the Statue of Liberty as they came to this land, passed the Statue of Liberty on the way to this land, got off the boat, built a home, built a life, and they took pity on a 7-year-old neighbor boy who had no family of his own. They invited him into their home. They adopted him. And there he stayed and spent the night in this Jewish family home. For the first time in his life, he was treated with kindness, tenderness, and the liberty of love. When he went to bed, Mrs. Karnofsky sang him Russian lullabies, which he sang with her. Later, he learned to sing and play 7 Russian and Jewish songs on his own. Over time, this 7-year-old boy grew into a man, and he became the adopted son of this family. Mr. Karnofsky gave him money to buy his first musical instrument because he loved playing music so much. And it's very traditional in Jewish families for them to hand on a gift to you, a gift of music through an instrument they buy, a gift of music through music lessons they give you, a gift of love for the way they treat you, a gift of love for the way they treat you. Later, when he became a professional musician and composer, this little 7-year-old boy who became a 70-year-old man, he used these Jewish melodies in compositions such as St. James Hospital and Go Down Moses. The little boy grew up, wrote a book about this Jewish family who adopted him in 1907 and proudly spoke Yiddish fluently. In memory of his family, and until the end of his life, he wore the Star of David and said that in this family he learned to live a real life and to love unconditionally. And this family told him and shared with him and sparked within him his desire to live his dream come true. What's the I am of your dream come true? What's the I am of your dream come true? What's the I am of your dream come true? How many people know this little boy's name who grew into a 70-year-old man who still had that dream of a 7-year come true? This man's name was Louis Armstrong. Dorothy was just on the, I think it's Louis, but I'm not going to say it, right? Right? That man's name was Louis Armstrong. He proudly spoke fluent Yiddish, and Sachmo is Yiddish for big cheeks, which is a nickname some say was given to him by Mrs. Karnofsky on the first night that they invited him into his home. What's the I am of your dream? What's the I am of your 7-day-old dream? What's the I am of your 7-month-old dream? What's the I am of your 7-year-old dream? What's the I am of your 50 or 60 or 70-year-old dream right here, right now? What's your I am? Because whatever follows I am is going to show up in your life. Whatever follows I am is going to show up as your life. Robert Frost let his life speak and spark and shine through the poetic voice of his soul in a way that still sparks the light of love in my heart and shines forth as love's truth in this world. And he shared this: 2 roads diverged in yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. I took the road less traveled by. Welcome to Ernest Holmes. Welcome to Science of Mind. Welcome to living the I am of your dream come true. It is a road less traveled, but it is a road that none of us cannot someday travel. You cannot travel the road of the I am of your dream. Someday you will travel that road. Terry Cole Whitaker. Someday is not a day of the week. So the someday when you decide to travel the road of the I am of your dream, I choose for you to make that this day, this moment, this I am of the present. Maya Angelou in her poem, And Still I Rise, let her life speak and spark and shine beyond the grave. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tride me in the dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. I think Julia would say, forgiveness is a great way to live the I am of your dream. Forgiveness is a great way to live the I am of your dream. Shakespeare shares in his poetic prose that we're the stuff of which dreams are made. In Science of Mind, we pray the I am of our good in. We never pray the I am not out. In Science of Mind, we pray the I am of our good in. We do not pray the I am not out. We never pray out, I'm not rich enough. We never pray out, I'm not smart enough. We never pray out, I'm not young enough. I've tried praying that out, it's not working. We never pray out, I'm not spiritual enough. We always pray in the I am bountiful. I am beautiful. I am brilliant. I am bodacious. I am blessed. I am a dreamer. And as I dream, my dreams come true, they do. I am a dreamer, and as I dream, the I am of my dreams, the I am of my dreams come true, they do. I am my dream come true of peace on earth and love for all. I am my dream come true of spirits, body, mind, and soul as one with my goodness. I am my dream come true of the answer to cancer, the light in the dark. I am my dream come true that hugs for my heart, that heals all the tugs of the hurts in this world. I like that. I liked it at 4 a.m, and I like it at 10:50. I am my dream come true of the hugs from my heart that heal the hurt of the tugs in this world. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. We are a co-creative teaching. It's never too late to start a new career. We are a co-creative consciousness. It's never too late at 40 to fall in love. It's never too late to learn to dance at 60. It's never too late to start a whole new, bountiful, blessed life of your dreams come true at 70. Stop saying you can't and start praying the I am. Dreams don't have an expiration date. John Lennon prophesies this: you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. So I invite us to say our closing affirmation in a minute, but before we do, I like this about eternity. Like sand through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives. Right? So what's your hourglass looking like? What kind of sand is pouring through the soul of your life? Because it's the soul of our life that the sand of our earthly life pours through. And how do we refine that in our soul? How do we refine it to the place that we find out who we are? How do we find the sands that's pouring through the hourglass of our soul and refine them through our soul to find out the true love of light in our heart that we are? And William Blake said this: to see the world in a grain of sand, and heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. I think Julie and her forgiveness came to see her world in a grain of sand of forgiveness that expanded to forgive all of the grains of sand on all of the beaches and all of the world, despite whatever language or any government is speaking. I think she found that grain of forgiveness that became one with the grains of all of the sands of this world and probably the sands of the moon and Jupiter beyond. I think she had no problem seeing infinity in the palm of her hand. And I certainly know Julia's love was infinite in the center of our heart, yeah? So I know Julia is the eternity that's present in this hour of Sunday service. You know, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff happen. You can make this stuff welcome by insightful prayer that leads to the insight that we can allow our life to speak and spark and shine that liberty of truth that Ernest Holmes says all there is liberty and truth and love. So I invite us today, I invite us this week, I invite us this lifetime to let our lives speak and spark and shine is that unity of love and light that unites all the grains of sand on the beaches, unites all of our hearts as one, and invites and makes welcome the loving presence of love for all and the truth of love as all and all as love. And so in that, I invite us to close with our closing affirmation. And so I invite us to speak of the body of our life and let that speak as love. I invite us to let this be the body of our mind and let that spark as love. And I invite that to be spirit's shine, you know, polish for the heart is love. And to be the I am one liberty, yearning to be free. And I invite us to read that together. But think of this as you let your life speak and you let your life spark and you let your life shine. I am one body. I am one mind. I am one spirit. I am one liberty, yearning to be free. And let's read that together. I'm speaking about the body of love, the mind of love, the spirit of love, the liberty of love. I am one body. I am one mind. I am one spirit. I am one liberty, yearning to be free. So I'll read this. I'll read this for myself, because that's the only person we can read things for. That's the only person we can truly pray for. That's the only person we can really be present for and love. But I'll read it for myself. But I'll read it from that presence of love that Julia was. And so, for Julia, who reminded me to use forgiveness to let go of my story, hey, Julia, this is for you. We all have a story. We all have a story, a tale to be told of the joys we experienced and the hardships we've known. Sometimes we wear them on our sleeves for all to see, but oft they're hidden as deep as they can be. So let us be kind, for we never truly know the struggles and battles that others undergo. May empathy and compassion be the guiding lights we share, and may we always remember that each story deserves care. For in our human journey, we all need love and grace. So let us be kind to one another and create a better place. Julia Harris created a better place. She created a better place for me to be me because she let herself be herself. So I'll end with this. Don't let the treason of your reason keep you from your soul's eternal season of letting your life speak and spark and shine. And so we'll take that into prayer. And then I'll invite Reverend Neil to come up here and we'll be doing a little ceremony in a minute, but let's take that into prayer. Let's take into prayer the body of love that we are. Let's take into prayer the light of love that shines on our mind. And let us take into prayer that oneness of spirit that's the love in our hearts, the light in our mind, and the liberty and truth in our soul. The liberty and truth in my soul, in Julia's soul, in your soul, in the souls of all people in all nations everywhere. That soul truth, yearning to be free. I am one liberty, yearning to be free. And may we hold that in prayer for all of eternity. And so now, I invite Reverend Neil to come up, and we're going to do a ceremony. We had a new member orientation yesterday. We had some new members join. And so if you are present, we have new member cards for you. Rosanna made incredible chicken salad sandwiches, so you missed out on that. So I will call the names out. If you're present, we'd like you, if you come up here, if you're comfortable coming up here and standing. Maureen Keeney. We have a membership card for you. And Jerry Gober, are you present today? Jerry, not today, okay. And Jody Lindman. Jody, if you'll come up. Darla Mondragon, are you here today? Not here today. So, Maureen. And Jody. And Deanna Marie, are you here? Deanna Marie. There we go. And Jack Burnham, who learned the power of saying no yesterday. We talked about the power of saying no. I mean, you get it's not how hard you fall, it's how high you bounce, right? And we have Joan Frost. We have a membership card for you if you want to come up. And Joan sponsored the flowers today. Richard Pelicano, I don't see here today. Bobby Chappelle, I don't see here today. And Gerald Gray. Is Gerald Gray here today? All right, so these are our new members. We have some who are absent, and Reverend Neil will do a reading and install these as new members to our center. So we can give them applause here. Oh. Photo op.
So for the official part, there is not the center and its members. There is the center as its members. The body of the center is composed of individuals who are its hands, its feet, its heads, and its heart. Within the body of the center moves the spirit of the center. You have deliberately made yourselves an integral part of this movement. Every individual is an individualization of the presence of God. The presence of God is the divine spirit, which is God. Through each other and in our unified awareness, we share our experience of the presence of God. And each time we think of the spirit of our center, we attune ourselves with the sum of that power, the life and the love, which is the healing presence that indwells the body of the center. There are those among us at this time who have signified their desire to become members of the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. And these are our new members. You are all unifying with each other and with the members of this center and all of the Centers for Spiritual Living throughout the world in a warm, loving, divine fellowship of the Spirit. As you enter into this center in thought, word, purpose, plan, and action, you are an important and a unique way to each other and to all of humanity. Through your practice of the teaching of science of mind, you have become a vital factor in establishing and maintaining the kingdom of heaven on earth. As you join in membership cooperation, the experience of each is enlarged and expanded into greater good. For as you enter into a life of service to humankind, to life itself, and to God, you knowingly become one with the very spirit of the divine presence. In this way, you increasingly become an influence for good in the lives of all whom you contact. The obligation you place on yourself and in fulfillment of the promise of your heart and the meaning of this membership to you. On behalf of our Board of Trustees and the other members of this center, I lovingly receive each one of you into membership into the Center for Spiritual Living Beaumont. Let's give them all a big round of applause.
And so now we will go into our time of giving and our giving statement.
No special song? No special song?
We have an after-talk song?
I do.
All right, George has an after-talk song, so we will go for an after-talk song. We're going to live in the moment of the now, and in the moment of the now, we have a talk song, so let's go for it.
I think that Reverend Michael's saga with his talk this morning is a great illustration of that old saying that man plans and God laughs. You know, so sometimes our plans, which are made in the past, don't fit the bigness of the moment, and so Spirit pushes something new to the surface, like the talk you gave this morning. So that can feel like a risk, but in Science of Mind, we know there is no risk in God. But this song is called "I'd Rather Risk."
Stand at the edge of a cliff and hang my toes over the edge and jump when they dare me, even if I'm scared I'll get hurt. I'd rather build my wings on the way down, try my best not to fall to the ground, then laugh at my mistakes, 'cause they're only lessons I've learned. I'd rather burn with desire deep in my soul, live like a fire that's out of control, and laugh and dance and brawl and chant and kiss. I'd rather live my whole life with a sense of abandon, squeeze every drop out no matter what happens, not wonder what I've missed. I'd rather risk. I could just play it safe and forget about love, hope, and faith. Keep my eye on the shoreline, tie up my boat and stay home. Well, I'll never discover new lands by keeping my toes in the sand. I'd rather set sail and get carried away by the storm. I'd rather live with desire deep in my soul, live like a fire that's out of control, and laugh and dance and brawl and chant and kiss. I'd rather live my whole life with a sense of abandon, squeeze every drop out no matter what happens, not wonder what I've missed. I'd rather risk. I'd rather burn with desire deep in my soul, live like a fire that's out of control, and laugh and dance and brawl and chant and kiss. I'd rather live my whole life with a sense of abandon, squeeze every drop out no matter what happens, not wonder what I've missed. I'd rather risk. Rather risk.
So I think, a beautiful song and living in the now of the moment. It's just the most beautiful place you could ever visit and ever live. So visit Risk a whole lot more often, because in the risk is the reward of coming to know who you are. And what the world needs right now is people who know who they are.
Yes.
More than ever. So it's our time for giving, and I invite you to read our giving statement with me, and if you're online, We invite you to come and visit us in person someday. But while you're online, read this at home with us. Read it aloud with us. So, I give and receive freely and generously with an open heart and an open mind. The universe responds to me in kind. I know that my beloved community is richly blessed, and so it is.
And so it is. And
I was
so
going
if
to
you
invite the ushers to come forward, but they knew I missed my cue, so they came forward. So we're going to move right into, you can take tithe at cslbeaumont.org.
you can sing along with me.
Or if you're here, you can
Gratitude
pray.
before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
So knowing we're grateful for this time together, we're grateful for this beautiful teaching of ours, and we're grateful for knowing that this teaching comes alive as we speak it and spark it and share it every day. So if you're new to the center, you haven't been, we gather in a circle. We stand and hold hands. If you're not comfortable, you can remain seated and join us in consciousness. But we gather and we sing our way out as we hold hands and circle the center in love. And if you'd rather remain seated, you can remain seated. You good?
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and give each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so knowing something wonderful happened at CSL Beaumont today, and that something wonderful was that feeling of peaceful presence, that feeling of powerful prayer, and that feeling of love and laughter and liberty in our heart and in our soul, that we shine forth brightly and bodaciously into this world. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
So we have food in Carter Hall. We have Julia Harris's service out in the Rose Garden, a short memorial service in the Rose Garden. And if you want some prayer, our practitioners will be here for a few minutes as you move into the Rose Garden or for lunch, whichever works for you. Thank you for being here today.
In my eyes, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my life, I have been searching for something, but you were my dream. You're perfect, you're gold,